So for anybody that has seen the final experiment proving that the flat earth is completely fraudulent, Jeranism has put that out, and it's already been pulled apart completely. From telling us that it's so cold that they can't take deep breaths because it'll hurt their lungs, yet there's zero condensation coming out of their mouths as they're talking. Until, of course, that happens. Do you see what I'm saying? In order to have a fake alien invasion, which it appears they're setting up for, you have to first go after the flat earth community. Because if 3 out of 10 people don't believe in outer space, how are you going to pull off an alien invasion? You see what I'm saying? And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Jeranism, deep inside the rabbit hole, David Weiss and their pals are complete and utter traitors. They're not sellouts or shills, they're traitors. There it is.
We're all God's children, wherever we may live in the world. I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. Well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us we can bring about that realization. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war?
I met the late Dr. Wernher von Braun in early '74. At that time, von Braun was dying of cancer, but he assured me that he would live a few more years in order to tell me about the game that was being played, that game being the effort to weaponize space. The way he said it to me, there was no doubt in my mind that he knew something that he was too afraid to talk about. The strategy that Wernher von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids, we're going to build space-based weapons. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie. A lie.
There's no pressure on you to convince the world of what you believe. I've gone past trying to convince people that that's a local light and all this isn't spinning and wobbling and tilting in 8 different directions. People can believe whatever they want to believe, but it is a very interesting time to be alive because people are questioning things. They're understanding that reality works far differently to what we've been taught in our schools, our colleges and our universities. We know that everything is cyclic, so eventually everything will come to pass, and you can't hide the truth. We're seeing the truth every single day. We're understanding that all this doesn't work in the way that we've been taught by the mainstream science. Because all they're actually doing is hiding the creator. They're hiding the fact that we don't come from a big bang. All of this isn't an accident. And there is actually meaning to life because you're at the center of the universe. So that's a completely different reality to the mainstream narrative that we're taught. And that takes the power away from the individual and gives it to the people perpetuating the lie.
An ancient Mesopotamian tablet was found with a very specific and peculiar map on the tablet. So the Mesopotamians built a flat earth map with an Arctic circle around it, and they called it the Bitter River. So the oldest known map in the entire world was a flat earth map. How could this possibly be if the earth is a spinning globe in outer space? Were the ancients just not smart? And my friend decided to send me an actual video of a star from her camera. Now, does that look like the stars that NASA and the other space agencies like to show us? Or does that look like light and sound resonance? Light and sound oscillating in the waters above. How is there no visual parallax? How is there no change in the brightness or the dimness of these stars, and no change in the star constellations? How do we have the same exact 12 star constellations that we've had for the last 6,000 years if we are a globe spinning through outer space and moving trillions of miles through the galaxy per year? Does this make any sense to you? And what about that 24-hour sun that supposedly debunked flat Earth? Of course, this video was for entertainment purposes only. Please, for the love of God, don't ban me.
I get comments like these all the time, and I just want to address it in one single video. I'm going to go through the physics of light and the many reasons why you can't see the sun at night with a telescope. Perspective. Everything above and below your eyes converges into a point this way. Everything to the left and right of your eyes converges this way into a focal point. That's how your eyes work. Another example of perspective right here. These people appear to be almost as big as the Tower of Pisa, but we know they're not. We know they're just closer and they're acting this out. And that's why you can't see Everest from your backyard. Another reason is the inverse square law of light. Every time you double the distance from the light source, it becomes a quarter of the brightness to you. Light also behaves like a wave. So as it moves away from you, it's further away, it redshifts. So the longer wavelengths, which don't use as much energy up, are still able to reach you until they become infrared. It's also why there's such a high UV rating at midday, because these waves will oscillate much faster and they'll use up their energy much quicker. It's a very sharp UV rating. If it was the sun as far away as they say, that should be more of a nice curve. Please just open your mind a little bit. The public school system has done a really good job at convincing you it's a globe. Now it's time to wake up a bit. Do your own research. Think for yourself. Think critically.
The top picture are star trails from the equator. This bottom picture is the magnetic field lines from a magnet. Now these two little vortexes, this would be the North Pole, the other one would be the South Pole. And here's another example for you. This is what the magnetic field looks like from the side. Now, if we were to look at it from a top view, so for example, just seeing this North Pole from above, this is what it would look like. This is what it would look like from a top view looking down. Or like that. It's a double torus. That last picture we were looking at was looking at that top half from above looking down. The same thing would be below. Here's another picture to help make it a little more clear. The top left picture again is from the magnetic field looking down from a top view. Right here is from the side, North and the South Pole. We live on that green plane in the middle and we experience that top toroid shape over the Earth. This is why when you map the path of the ISS over a flat Earth, it matches those magnetic field lines. As well as all the planets. They all move in these beautiful sacred geometric patterns over the Earth. And again, And last but not least, this is the apparent solar eclipse, and it happens to match the magnetic field lines again. What a surprise! Earth is flat. It's time to wake up.
I think I figured out what the lines in the sky are, as well as why the clouds have been looking so strange. In a nutshell, I think that they're trying to mess with the firmament and make it easier to break open. And the reason I think this is because the things that are being put in the lines would have that effect on what we think that material is. And then the satellites are bouncing frequencies off of it. And I was watching this video of them like updating the ISS or whatever, and there's tanks of aluminum on there, and aluminum would break it down. So I asked ChatGPT some hypothetical ways that they might be trying to do that. It says DEWs, missiles, sound frequency disruption, particle accelerators like the Large Hadron Collider, chemicals, exploration missions, nuclear explosions, religious tools, AI-driven experiments, extreme pressure, space mining, and plasma-based methods. It did also say the lines in the sky, but I cut that part out. But let's not forget that Elon launches those rockets and they have quantum computers inside of them. He is literally launching quantum computers into the firmament.
Have you ever heard about the court case between Flat Earth and Globe Earth in 2019? Two people took their debate to court in a civil case for about $10,000. But here's where it gets interesting. The case wasn't just about money, it was about proving whether the Earth is a globe or flat. Each side presented their evidence, and the winner would be decided based on which argument held up in court. Naturally, you'd assume the globe Earth side would win, right? I mean, we've been taught about a round Earth since we were kids. But that's not what happened. The judge ruled that there was zero evidence to prove the Earth is a globe, and the flat Earth side won the case. That's right, the side arguing for a flat Earth came out on top, and the story doesn't end there. The globe Earth advocate, upset by the ruling, went back to court for a second trial. You'd think they'd come prepared this time, right? But once again, the flat Earth side won, twice. This makes you wonder, if a court of law, which relies on solid evidence, can't prove the Earth is a globe, shouldn't we be questioning what we've been taught? Courts use evidence to decide cases on serious matters like life sentences. Yet here, the evidence pointed to flat Earth. Let's take water as an example. If the Earth were a spinning ball, how does water stick to it? Try putting water on a round object, like a ball or an apple. It slides right off. But on a flat surface, water settles evenly and stays put. That's what we see in lakes, oceans, and rivers. Level water everywhere. And let's not forget, we've been told that gravity holds everything together. But gravity is just a theory, one that hasn't been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Check this out. We got the sun, the rainbow around the sun, the 3-point reflection on each side, one on the bottom, and then from each side there's a spear of light, and if you look closely you can see a second rainbow. Then, check this out. We got the sun, the rainbow around the sun, the 3-point reflection on each side, one on the bottom, and then from each side there's a spear of light, and if you look closely you can see a second rainbow. Then up above there's an inverse rainbow. That is so cool.
Did you know that in the 1960s, the United States government launched nuclear missiles straight into the sky, supposedly to test them? What if they were actually trying to break the firmament? What if these so-called nuclear tests were really attempts to shatter the firmament as described in Genesis? Between 1962 and 63, the United States government conducted a series of nuclear tests called Operation Dominique. Missiles like Starfish Prime were fired straight into the heavens, resulting in an explosion explosions over 248 miles over the Earth's surface. The name Dominique comes from the Latin word Dominicus, meaning of the Lord. Were they symbolically targeting the heavens, the firmament that God established in Genesis 1, 6-8? The Bible describes the firmament as a solid structure separating the waters above from the waters below. Job 37:18 calls it strong as a molten looking glass. Could these tests have been humanity's attempts to challenge God's creation? Kind of irresponsible of them too. If there are waters above the firmament and they crack it open, what do you think will happen to the civilizations below? Starfish Prime, dedicated with a yield of 1.4 megatons, created an artificial aura visible across the Pacific. Why spend billions just to blow up the sky? Could this have been an assault on the firmament? It gets really interesting when we fast forward to Hillary Clinton's famous speeches about breaking the glass ceiling. Today, space agencies like NASA and SpaceX still invest heavily in exploring the heavens. But if the Earth is enclosed, are they truly exploring, or are they still trying to break through? What do you think? Were these nuclear tests about research, or was humanity trying to challenge God's design and break the firmament? Are we seeing a spiritual rebellion against the Creator? Genesis 11 reminds us of the Tower of Babel, man's first attempts to try to reach the heavens. Are these tests the modern version of that?
What if I told you all three of their names are made-up names to suit the narrative, and I can prove it through the mocking and the truth in plain sight? Well, let's start with the very first one to supposedly step foot on the moon, which essentially makes him an alien. Highly unlikely his name happens to be alien backwards, A-L-I-E-N. Now let's take Edwin Aldrin, who has said multiple times on camera that they never went to the moon. I digress. I don't think it's a coincidence his last name, Aldrin, sounds suspiciously close to the fictional planet in Star Wars, Alderaan, or how in another big Hollywood movie, the fictional character's name is Buzz, which was Edwin Alderaan's nickname. Moving on to Mr. Charles Conrad, and if you follow me, this one's gonna hit for you. Another double C name. Not only that, but they gave him the nickname Pete. And since then, as tradition, astronauts have often been called Pete. You know I love that etymology. See where it comes from. To scheme, plot. That's your meaning of Pete. There you have it. There's your three most famous astronauts. It's truth in plain sight with the spelling even. The word "not" with the spelling N-A-U-T is always in association with sailors, ships, the sea.
Breaking news. Austin Whitsitt, one of the actors invited by Pastor Will Duffy to fake a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, was caught vaping to fake breath condensation.
The footage is going to be of Austin Whitsitt, and everyone, we've all seen it. Here it is.
What's up now?
So look, he just faked his breath, right? So this is him when he's faking his breath. Watch carefully again and listen to what he says.
Here's a little breath. What's up now? You have to take like deeper breaths, and it sucks. It hurts your lungs. Okay.
Now he's walking off.
He's got his gloves on and he's walking.
Now he's walking off to go get the snow. I have another angle of this video. Someone sent it to me and I couldn't believe it when I saw it. So I'm going to bring it up right now. So remember, the video we just watched was Austin Whitsitt on his live, blowing out smoke, saying, oh, look, there's breath. What now? And then he walks back like 5-10 feet or 20 yards to go get some snow. Here's the video from another angle. Watch carefully. We are exposing these devils. Watch him when he comes out. He is smoking a vape and blowing. He's smoking on the vape again. Watch. And now he gets in front of the camera. He blows out smoke. He's putting on his gloves. And that's when he says, what now? Then he's walking back to pick up snow. Why is he walking 20 yards over there to pick up snow, to come back to the camera and then put it down? Look at these sus movements. Let's go back. So remember, he did go and puff on his vape and then stand in front of the camera and lie and say it was his breath. There he is smoking the vape. Then he takes a pull and he stands in front of the camera and blows it out. And then he's like, what now? There's breath. And now he's walking away to go get the snow. Now look at this. Can you see two different settings there? The only reason he walked over there to pick up snow, because what he's standing on over here is not real, which is what I've been trying to say. So everyone get on the videos, analyze it, and let's rip these people apart, right? There is a lot going on in this community right now, and we are going to get to the bottom of it. All the shills are getting exposed.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.